Li Yifeng and Lu Bo were shouting at me. Their voices were cracking. I just saw that transfer student getting tangled up with your girlfriend again. Aren't you going to check it out? That fat guy was running, his face all flushed. He was speaking in a somewhat stuttering manner. As soon as the words transfer student came out, my heart skipped a beat. No need to think. Damn it, it must be that bastard Lu Chuan. I slammed my pen down on the table with a bang. I suddenly stood up, knocking my chair over. All the classmates' eyes were immediately on me. I really couldn't care less about him. He was asking for it. I gritted my teeth and cursed. My fists were clenched, making a cracking sound. Lu Bo was still shouting from behind. Do you need me to come with you? Before his words even landed, I had already rushed out of the classroom door. That kid Lu Chuan has only been transferred here for a few months, and he stuck to Song Ming like a piece of sticky tape. He just ran downstairs and scanned the area, quickly spotting his target. Lu Chuan has his back to me, arms outstretched, blocking Song Ming against a big elm tree. The pose is the classic stance of a bully. Meanwhile, Song Ming is tilting her face up, her cheeks flushed with anger, her beautiful almond-shaped eyes wide open. She yells at Lu Chuan, "Get lost. Good dogs don't block the way." Students passing by have already stopped in groups, pointing and whispering, some even pulling out their phones, seemingly wanting to capture the drama. But Lu Chuan doesn't care at all, wearing that annoying, wicked grin on his face, slowly inching closer to Song Ming. "If you agree to be my girlfriend, I'll leave. Otherwise, let's share a kiss first as a down payment." After saying that, he squinted his eyes and slowly leaned his face closer, getting closer and closer to Song Ming's face. Song Ming was so angry that his whole body was shaking. He raised his hand to push him away, but with his little strength, he couldn't push away Lu Chuan, who was intentionally provoking him. A crisp and loud slap echoed through the quiet tree-lined path. It was particularly jarring, and the surrounding chatter instantly stopped. All eyes were focused on us. That guy Lu Chuan was already weak-looking. After my slap, he spun around completely. Then with a thud, he fell to the ground. The back of his head hit the tree root with a dull thud. Who the hell hit me? Lu Chuan lay on the ground, covering his face. His head was buzzing. He shook his head and tried to get up, but his vision was filled with stars, making it impossible to see clearly. He rubbed his eyes hard. After blinking several times, he finally managed to see. I was standing next to Song Ming. I had already lifted my foot. If it weren't for Song Ming pulling my arm tightly from behind, my size 45 athletic shoe would have definitely landed right on his face. Song Ming isn't very strong, but the hand she was holding me with had a force that instantly calmed me down a bit. I glanced down at her. Her eyes were red, and she shook her head at me. The meaning was clear. Don't act impulsively, or you'll get expelled. Lu Chuan had regained his composure. He got up from the ground, holding his swollen face, but a sinister smile crept onto his lips. That smile was full of pride and scheming. "Lin Feng, you really can't change your ways, can you?" Lu Chuan pointed at my nose and cursed. "And now you're still daring to hit someone. This time, if I don't get you expelled from school, I can't believe the road." What he said isn't wrong. I already received a warning for hitting him multiple times before. Serious warnings and multiple disciplinary actions. Last time I sent him to the hospital, if it weren't for some connections my family had. Plus, I actively compensated him. I would have already packed my things and left by now. In the end, the school just gave me a probationary punishment, clearly written in black and white. If I offend again, I'll be expelled right away. Healed the scars, but forgot the pain. Not even 3 days after being discharged, he started hanging around Song Ming again, thinking I had crossed the line, that if he did it again, I would be completely eliminated from the school. Lu Chuan pinpointed this. That's why he dares to provoke me so audaciously. He calculated that I wouldn't dare to retaliate. He figured I was afraid of being expelled. That's why he keeps harassing Song Ming again and again, jumping up and down in front of me again and again. "Lin Feng, you're begging me on your knees now." Lu Chuan tilted his chin, his eyes filled with pride. "I'll consider whether to let you off this time." Before he finished speaking, the anger I had barely managed to suppress surged back up. It shot up painfully all at once. "You can go to hell." I shoved Song Ming's hand away. Then I kicked Lu Chuan right in the stomach. That kick felt absolutely satisfying. A piercing scream escaped Lu Chuan's throat. He crumpled like a deflated ball, curled up, clutching his stomach, rolling on the ground. His face instantly turned a shade of pig liver. He kept vomiting. Just then, Uncle Lu ran over, panting. His chubby body plopped down on the ground. He collapsed directly under the tree roots. He took off his glasses and wiped the sweat away. Breathlessly, I said I was late again. "Looks like this time, even the gods can't save you." Song Ming walked up to me and gently tugged at my arm. Her tone carried a hint of worry and a touch of helplessness. "Lin Feng, why did you get into a fight again? This time, you might really get expelled." I turned to look at him. Seeing the concern in his eyes warmed my heart. I held her hand and shook my head. My tone was firm and left no room for doubt. It's fine. If I get expelled, then so be it. If I get expelled, I won't let him off so easily. Song Ming wanted to say something more, but she was interrupted by Lu Bo's words. That fat guy got up from the ground. He brushed the dust off his pants, looking utterly heartbroken. That can't happen. I finally have such a good big brother. If you leave, who am I going to rely on? Both Song Ming and I couldn't help but laugh at his words. The tense atmosphere from just now eased significantly. Lu Chuan finally managed to catch his breath. He held his stomach and struggled to get up from the ground. His face was pale and his lips were trembling, but his eyes were frighteningly red. Hey, how can you still laugh? Soon, I'll make you cry before you even realize it. Saying this, she took out her phone from her pocket, her fingers trembling as she tried to dial for help. But Song Ming suddenly spoke up. She directly interrupted Lu Chuan's actions. Lin Feng, I think it should be us calling the police. Lu Chuan's finger froze on the screen. He seemed stunned, as if he didn't understand Song Ming's words. He looked at us with disbelief, saying, "You guys are calling the police?" He looked down at his own injuries. Then he looked up at me. It was as if he had heard the biggest joke. I'm in this state and you're saying that? Are you really going to call the police? Isn't this just bullying honest people? Do you even have any shame? Lu Chuan's voice grew louder, as if accusing us of our crimes. What are you reporting me for? Does it hurt more to hit me or to kick me? I was momentarily taken aback, not quite getting your meaning. What are we reporting Lu Chuan for? Song Ming, however, looked at Lu Chuan seriously, then turned to glance at me, his eyes holding a hint of cunning. He spoke clearly, saying to accuse him of indecency, pausing for a moment, then corrected himself with emphasis. No, it's attempted rape, not just indecency. I instinctively repeated it, my heart sinking a little. I quietly asked, lacking confidence, will this work? Isn't it a bit far-fetched to say this in broad daylight? After all, Lu Chuan just wanted to kiss Song Ming. He didn't really do anything substantial. Song Ming confidently nodded. She raised her hand and pointed around. Look, those places all have cameras. Just now he stopped me. He even leaned in to kiss me, and he threatened me that if I didn't comply, he would make me regret it. All of these actions were recorded. Lu Chuan's expression instantly changed. From pale to ashen, he instinctively glanced towards the camera. A hint of panic flashed in his eyes. His earlier actions were indeed all captured, but the camera doesn't have audio. There's no evidence of what he said. However, the actions he took are very real. When the time comes, we can say whatever we want. I didn't say that. Lu Chuan panicked. He hurriedly waved his hands. His voice was even tinged with a cry. I just wanted to be friends with classmate Song Ming. I didn't threaten him, and there was certainly no attempted rape. Isn't it up to you to decide? Song Ming crossed her arms and looked at her. Her eyes were full of mockery. Since you didn't say anything, let's have the police investigate it. Let's see what they have to say. His tone was aggressive, leaving Lu Chuan no room to maneuver. Lu Chuan looked at Song Ming's confident demeanor, then glanced at the cold smile in my eyes, and thought about that camera again. His expression grew darker. His hand holding the phone shook even more. He knew that if the police were called, he definitely wouldn't gain any advantage. Attempted indecency is one thing. Attempted rape is another. But once the police get involved, the school will definitely find out. By then, his reputation as a transfer student will be completely ruined. He gritted his teeth, his face turning a shade of green then pale. And finally, as if he had made up his mind, he shot me a fierce glare. Forget it this time. I'll let you off. But next time, Lin Feng, if you lay a finger on me, I won't let it go. After saying that, she clutched her stomach, limping away. As she left, she didn't forget to glare back at us. Watching his awkward retreat, Song Ming and I exchanged smiles. Lu Bo clapped his hands beside us, looking impressed. Sister Ning, you're amazing. That move was brilliant. Song Ming shot him a glance. Stop buttering me up. I'm not your lingo. Flattery won't do you any good. He put his arm around Song Ning's shoulder. The weight in his heart finally lifted. The anger from earlier had dissipated. All that was left was relaxation. Come on, let me check the time. It's almost dinner time. I'll treat you all to barbecue, yay? Lu Bo cheered. Let's go to Lu's barbecue. They have the most authentic flavor. All you ever think about is food. Look at all that meat on you. You should really think about losing some weight. Song Ming laughed and teased him for not dieting. Lu Bo patted his chest. This is all my hard work. It's all about savoring each bite. Why bother dieting? We went to the street behind the school, that popular skewer shop. It's called Lu Ji Barbecue. The owner is a genuine northerner. His grilling skills are unmatched, especially the grilled lamb kidneys. They're so fragrant they could make you swallow your tongue. We found a table outdoors to sit at, ordered a ton of skewers, and a few bottles of chilled beer. The summer night breeze carried the smoky aroma of barbecue. It felt really nice on our faces. As soon as Lu Bo sat down, he grabbed a lamb skewer. He devoured it ravenously, mumbling through his mouth full. So good, so good. Seeing that punk Lu Chuan get put in his place earlier, it really boosted my appetite. Old man, order another round of skewers. I took a sip of beer. The cold liquid slid down my throat. I let out a comfortable burp. I looked at Song Ming and couldn't help but ask, how did you come up with the idea of attempted rape? I was stunned. Song Ming pressed his lips together. He picked up a skewer of grilled leeks and took small bites. A hint of a smug smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. What else? Do you think watching you get bullied by him is acceptable? He knows you're too scared to escalate the situation. That's why he's so arrogant. We need to be tougher than him, to keep him in check. I felt a wave of gratitude in my heart. I reached out to ruffle her hair. You're still the clever one. Song Ming patted my hand, giving me a glare. Don't get too handsy with so many people around. Lu Bo was next to us, eating with a mouthful of grease. She raised her head when she heard our conversation. With her cheeks stuffed full, that's Ningjia. But she's the top student in our school. Her brain works faster than anyone else's. Unlike some people who only know how to solve problems with their fists. You asking for a beating, huh? I raised my fist, as big as a sandbag, ready to smash it down. Lu Bo quickly waved his hands, pleading for mercy. Bro, I was wrong. Is that enough? Song Ming put down the skewer in his hand. He looked at me with a hint of worry in his eyes. Lin Feng, do you think Lu Chuan will really let this go? I set down the beer bottle. My fingers lightly tapped on the table. After a few seconds of silence, I shook my head. Definitely not. I know Lu Chuan too well. He's particularly stubborn. He's been beaten countless times. The next day, he still acts like nothing happened. Lu Bo also stopped using his chopsticks. The smile on his face faded significantly. Yeah, that guy is just a real nuisance. You can't shake him off. Last time he ended up in the hospital after I beat him up. Just 3 days after being discharged, he came back to harass Sister Ning. You can't change a dog's instinct. Song Ming sighed. Her brows furrowed. What can we do? We can't let this go on forever. What if you really get expelled? Seeing her furrowed brow made my heart ache. I reached out and held her hand. With a firm tone, I said, it's okay. We'll face whatever comes our way. If he dares to come back, I'll beat him up again. At worst, I just won't attend this school anymore. My dad's company is still looking for a security chief. I can go work for him. I can still support you. Who says you have to support me? Song Ming shot me a glance, but the corners of her mouth couldn't help but lift slightly. After all, I want to be a strong woman. All right then, you can take care of me. I smiled and gave his hand a gentle squeeze. Lu Bo rolled his eyes beside us. Can you two stop showing off your love? Consider the feelings of this single dog, will you? By the way, Lin Gu, can you tell me about your love story? I took a sip of beer and thought of the person we both grew up with. Song Ming and I are neighbors. We grew up together, running around naked as kids. We are truly childhood sweethearts. I've been tall and sturdy since I was little. My personality was that of a recognized troublemaker in the neighborhood, while Song Ming was the type of kid everyone admired. Smart, top of her class, tall, and beautiful. When we were kids, there were always mischievous boys who bullied her. Every time, I'd rush in and make those boys cry for their mothers. When I got into trouble, he helped me write a self-reflection. He helped me plead with the teacher. When we got to high school, we started dating early. Both our parents knew about it. Not only did they not oppose it, but they even joked privately that we should get engaged after graduating from university. When we got to university, Song Ming really transformed. She became more and more beautiful. She became the school beauty. There were suitors for her every day. Every day, besides studying, I had to help Song Ming handle these troubles. At first, I would politely reason with them. I would say that the school beauty, Songda, has a boyfriend. Most people would apologize and then leave. Only a few would say, since she isn't married, they have a fair chance to compete. Whenever reasoning failed, I would patiently show them my skills. At that point, everyone would obediently back off. Lu Chuan transferred in his sophomore year. He launched a fervent pursuit of Song Ning the first time he met her. At that time, I politely told him that Song Ning was my girlfriend and to keep his distance, but he wouldn't listen. Instead, he became even more relentless. Then came the part where I had to show off my fighting skills. But it was of no use to him at all. He was like a cockroach that wouldn't die, getting braver with each hit. If I went easy on him, he'd turn around and report me to the school. If I hit him hard, he'd call the police. The last time I beat him up, he ended up in the hospital. She demanded 50,000 yuan from my family. The school also put me on probation. Since then, I've toned it down a lot and tried to endure. It wasn't that I was afraid of being expelled, but because I wasn't around Song Ning to protect her. Yet she thought I was afraid of him. He became more and more arrogant and outrageous. Today, he even dared to block Song Ning in broad daylight, trying to kiss her. This is something I cannot tolerate. The more I talk, the angrier I get. I took another sip of beer. At that moment, Lu Bo suddenly slapped his thigh. A sneaky grin appeared on his face. I actually have a good idea. It can make Lu Chuan stop bothering me and Song Ning. We both looked at him. In unison, we asked what the good idea was. Lu Bo leaned in closer. Lowering his voice, he said with a mischievous smile, "Make the raw rice into cooked rice. As long as you two." You know, he didn't finish his sentence. But the implication was crystal clear. Song Ning's face instantly turned red, like a ripe apple. He picked up a skewer of grilled eggplant and threw it at Lu Bo's head. He scolded, "Lu Bo, what nonsense are you talking about?" Lu Bo laughed loudly while covering his head. "I'm just speaking the truth. Think about it. As long as Sister Ning becomes yours, that kid Lu Chuan should finally give up, no matter how shameless he is." I was taken aback for a moment, suddenly feeling like I had been struck by lightning. Right? How did I not think of this approach? I've been with Song Ning for so long. We've done everything a couple should do, holding hands, hugging, and kissing, but we never crossed that line. One reason is that we both just turned 18 not long ago, and the other is that our studies have been quite overwhelming lately, leaving us with no mind for these things. Now, with Lu Bo's reminder, I suddenly feel like this might be a good idea. As long as Song Ning becomes mine, that kid Lu Chuan will only humiliate himself, no matter how much he clings. 也只会自取其辱. Seeing Song Ning's flushed cheeks, I felt a stir in my heart. I slapped my thigh and loudly said, "All right, boss, let's settle the bill." Song Ming's face turned even redder. He shot me a glare and whispered, "You're just talking nonsense too." Lu Bo was taken aback for a moment. "What are you doing? I'm not full yet." He said that and reached for the leftover skewers on the table. I quickly stepped in and packed the remaining skewers, smiling as I said, "I'll treat you properly next time. I need to pack these to replenish my energy later." Lu Bo was initially stunned. Then he reacted. A teasing smile appeared on his face. "Oh, I get it. Wishing you all the best. Ha ha ha." The boss walked over with a beaming smile. "Let's see. The total comes to 520 yuan. Who's paying the bill?" "Boss, add 10 skewers of grilled lamb kidneys and 10 grilled lamb eggs to pack together. Food supplements are better than medicinal ones. I need to replenish myself well tonight." The boss was taken aback for a moment. Then he smiled and said, "All right, young man, being young is great." Song Ning's face was so red it looked like it could bleed. After settling the bill, I carried the packed skewers and drove Song Ning to drop Lu Bo off at the boys' dormitory. I turned to look at Song Ning beside me. Her face was still flushed. She kept her head down and didn't resist. The moonlight spilled over her, casting a soft glow around her. She looked beautiful like a painting. I felt a stir in my heart. I reached out and took her hand. "How about we don't go back to the dorm?" Song Ning shivered slightly but didn't struggle. She just softly replied with an I took her to a nice hotel and booked a room with a king-sized bed. Once inside the room, I placed the packed skewers on the table. Then I turned to look at Song Ming. He stood by the door, nervously fidgeting with the hem of his clothes. His eyes were evasive, avoiding mine. I walked over and gently hugged him. I whispered in his ear, "Why are you so nervous? Sooner or later, you'll be mine." Song Ming shivered slightly. Then he looked up at me. "I'll take a shower first. Let's shower together." That night, the moonlight was bright, the stars were beautiful, and I was very tired. Song Ning and I finally crossed that line. We became a real couple. I thought that after this, Lu Chuan would finally give up, but I underestimated her. She found out about me and Song Ning. Not only did she not give up, but she became even more crazed. She even said that loving someone means, "I just want to love everything about him, including his past. Damn it, since you're so persistent, I guess I have no choice but to make things difficult for you." Just when I was thinking about how to get my revenge, he delivered the opportunity right to my doorstep. That afternoon, I was playing games in my dorm when Lu Bo suddenly ran up to me with an invitation. He looked at me with disdain and said, "Dude, this isn't yours. It should be for Ningjia. It's an invitation from that brat Lu Chuan." I took the envelope without even looking at it and tossed it on the table with a scoff. He still dares to send an invitation. He's got some guts. Lu Bo leaned in to look at the words on the invitation, reading out, "Dear classmate Song Ning and classmate Lin Feng, scheduled for this Saturday at 7 p.m. A homestyle restaurant on the back street of the school is hosting my birthday party. Sincerely inviting the two of you to attend, from Lu Chuan." After reading it, Lu Bo curled his lips. This guy sure knows how to act refined. I let out a cold laugh. I was calculating what Lu Chuan was up to in my mind. He definitely has some ulterior motive. Maybe he wants to set a trap for me and Song Ming at the birthday party. Without thinking, I said I wasn't going. Going would be walking right into a trap. Lu Bo nodded. "I think so too. This is just a feast of treachery. There would definitely be no good outcome from attending." Just then, my phone rang. It was a call from Song Ming. I answered the phone. Song Ming's voice came through the receiver, carrying a hint of laughter. Lin Feng and Lu Chuan sent you an invitation, right? Yeah, I just tossed it on the table. I said not going would definitely lead to trouble. Song Ning just laughed. Why not go? Someone's treating us to a meal. Why shouldn't we go? Free food is always good. I was taken aback for a moment. If you want to go, don't worry about him setting us up. There was a hint of cunning in Song Ning's voice. When soldiers come, we fight. When water comes, we block. If he wants to play with us, we'll play along. I want to see what tricks he's up to. I thought about it and felt that Song Ning had a point. Lu Chuan must want to regain face at his birthday party. Song Ning is so confident. He must have his reasons. I know him too well. All right, I said with a smile. Let's go see what tricks he can pull. Hang up the phone. Lu Bo looked at me with a puzzled expression. Are you really going? Of course I'm going. Someone's treating us to dinner. Why wouldn't I go? Saturday night at 7 o'clock. Song Ning and I arrived at the home-style restaurant on the back street of the school right on time. I've been to this place a few times before. The average cost is just around $100, and the environment is pretty average. The food tastes just so-so. It's that kind of ordinary home-style restaurant. Lu Chuan chose to hold his birthday party here. I guess he wants to save money while trying to show off. When we walked into the restaurant, there were already quite a few people seated inside. They were all Lu Chuan's friends. Lu Chuan was standing at the door, chatting with his friends. When he saw us come in, his eyes lit up. A fake smile immediately appeared on his face. He quickly walked over and greeted us enthusiastically. Song Ning, Lin Feng, you're here. Come in, come in. As he said this, he reached out to grab Song Ning's hand. I quickly blocked him by grabbing Song Ning's shoulder. I discreetly stood in front of her. Looking at Lu Chuan with a forced smile, he said, "Happy birthday, Lu classmate." Lu Chuan's hand froze in midair. The smile on his face stiffened for a moment. Then it quickly returned to normal. He chuckled awkwardly, saying, Thank you. Please, come in, come in." He led us to a table. He wanted to seat Song Ning next to him, but Song Ning didn't even glance at her. She pulled me and sat directly across from him. Lu Chuan's expression darkened slightly, but it was quickly hidden. Then he shouted loudly, "Boss, come over and take our order." A middle-aged man wearing an apron walked over, holding a menu in his hand. "What does classmate Lu want to eat today?" Lu Chuan waved his hand grandly, putting on a generous demeanor. His voice was so loud it seemed he was afraid others wouldn't hear him. "Bring me the best dishes you have in this restaurant. Don't worry about the cost. I have plenty of money. Today's spending has no limit." As soon as he said that, his rowdy friends immediately cheered. "Lu Gu is awesome. Lu Gu is generous. With Lu Gu, there's meat to eat." Lu Chuan chuckled proudly. He glanced at Song Ning, hoping to see a hint of admiration on his face. But Song Ning just calmly sipped his water, without even lifting his eyelids. Looking at Lu Chuan's pretentious expression, I felt a wave of disgust in my heart. He should really know his place. In a small restaurant where the average meal costs just 100 or so yuan, what's the point of showing off? If you're capable, go show off at the big hotel across the street. I turned to look at Song Ning for a moment, and from his gaze, I saw he had the same thought as I did. Song Ning's eyes darted around. He leaned in close and whispered to me, "He doesn't have any good dishes here, but the Huangqiao Grand Hotel next door does. If we order a few expensive dishes there, he'll probably spend all his living expenses for the next few months." I suddenly understood what Song Ning meant. Right? How did I not think of this method? The Huangqiao Grand Hotel is the most upscale hotel near our school. Even the cheapest dishes inside cost hundreds or even thousands. I nodded at Song Ning. We exchanged a knowing smile. "I need to go to the bathroom." I stood up and said to them. I walked towards the back door of the restaurant. I went straight to find the owner. He had a towel draped over his shoulder, skillfully handling a large ladle. I approached the owner. I pulled out a stack of $100 bills from my pocket. "Boss, I need a favor from you." The boss looked at the money on the table. He glanced at me and stopped his actions. A smile blossomed on his face. "What kind of favor is this?" I lowered my voice and said, "Didn't that student Lu just say there's no cap on spending? Don't make any of your restaurant's dishes for him. Call the Imperial Hotel. Have them send over some substantial dishes." The boss was taken aback for a moment. Then he understood what I meant. He looked at me, a bit hesitant, and said, "This isn't right. They're all students. What if they can't afford to pay later? Don't worry about me." I patted the boss on the shoulder and pulled out a stack of money. "If you can't even handle this, how can you be a boss?" The boss looked at the thick stack of cash in my hand and ultimately agreed. "Do you have any requests?" "Yeah, I've thought about it. The total price for 6 dishes shouldn't be less than 100,000 yuan. I've already spent 10,000 yuan. Of course, I can't let him off easy." The boss gasped after hearing this. "Dude, are you trying to bleed him dry?" "All right, I'll make the call now." I nodded in satisfaction. Then I turned and left the office. Back at my seat, Song Ming looked at me and asked quietly, "I got it done." I nodded. I made an okay gesture. Lu Chuan was happily bragging with his friends, saying there would be exciting activities soon. While speaking, he glanced at us. Before long, the waiter walked in with the dishes. But these waiters weren't from a casual dining restaurant. They were wearing the uniforms of the Royal Hotel. Lu Chuan and his friends were all taken aback. Lu Chuan frowned and was about to ask when he saw the waiter bringing over exquisite little bowls, placing them in front of everyone. Inside the bowls was a golden, translucent broth, with something that looked like vermicelli soaking in it. "What is this?" one of Lu Chuan's friends asked. "You don't recognize this? Isn't this vermicelli?" Before the waiter could respond, another friend jumped in. Lu Chuan frowned upon seeing this. "I asked you to serve the best. Why are you serving this vermicelli? And just this little bit for each person, is that enough? If someone eats like this again, won't it make others think that we can't afford a proper meal?" The waiter smiled and nodded, agreeing without saying much. "Lu Gu, this vermicelli is so delicious. I've never had such delicious vermicelli before. Yeah, it's unlike any I've had. I heard that shark fin is similar to vermicelli. Could it be shark fin? No way, a small shop like this wouldn't have it." Lu Chuan glanced at Song Ning. He swallowed the rest of his words. Song Ning and I exchanged a smile. We slowly enjoyed our own portions. Before long, the second dish was served. It was still the same waiter from the Royal Dynasty Hotel, carrying exquisite plates one by one. On the plate was a giant abalone with a double-headed leopard. The waiter introduced it. Lu Chuan's expression changed in an instant. From smug to incredulous, he stared at the double-headed leopard on the plate, then looked at the waiter. With a slightly trembling voice, he asked, "Is this a dish from your restaurant?" The waiter smiled and said, "This is specially prepared for you." Lu Chuan's mouth twitched. She forced a calm smile. "I didn't expect that they had this at home." Not bad, not bad. Everyone, please don't be shy. Go ahead, try it." But his eyes were filled with panic. He must be calculating in his mind how much this double-headed one costs. I watched her face twitch in pain. She had to squeeze out a fake smile. I almost couldn't hold back my laughter. Song Ning gently stepped on my foot under the table. She shot me a glare. I quickly composed myself. Lowering my head, I pretended to eat shark fin soup. Song Ning picked up a piece of abalone and put it in her mouth. She chewed it slowly. Then she looked up with a surprised expression and said, "Wow, the abalone at this place is so delicious. It's even better than some high-end hotels." Hearing this, Lu Chuan's expression softened a bit. He chuckled awkwardly and said, "As long as it's good, that's all that matters." Even though his heart was bleeding inside, as long as Song Ning thought it was tasty, spending a little money was worth it. The third dish was a gigantic clay pot, carefully brought to the table by the waiter. It was placed in the center of the table. As soon as the pot was opened, a rich and savory aroma instantly filled the whole restaurant. Lu Chuan's friends all craned their necks, curiously looking at the contents of the pot. "What the hell is this?" Abalone, sea cucumber, fish lips, fish stomach, fish maw, scallops, and conpoy. All are exquisite ingredients. Could this be the legendary Buddha jumps over the wall? Lu Chuan's friends excitedly exclaimed. All eagerly grabbed their spoons to taste a bite. Lu Chuan also leaned in to take a look. When he saw the precious ingredients in the pottery jar, his face instantly turned pale. His lips were trembling. He often comes to this home-style restaurant to eat. How could he not know? This restaurant doesn't serve Buddha jumps over the wall at all. He suddenly turned his head to look at the boss and sharply asked, "What's going on here, boss? I come here to eat often. How come I didn't know you serve Buddha jumps over the wall? Quick, have them stop making the remaining dishes. We can't eat all of this." His friends were all stunned. The excitement on their faces gradually turned into confusion. One friend said, "Lu Gu, don't get too worked up. It's not every day we get to eat Buddha jumps over the wall. Why not let them make it? It's just that everything here is soup and broth. It doesn't take up space, it'll dissolve in a bit. Dear brother, don't just watch us eat, you should eat too. This is just divine." A friend who knows what's good. He picked up the bowl in front of Lu Chuan. He served him a full bowl of Buddha jumps over the wall and presented it to him. Lu Chuan looked at the Buddha jumps over the wall in the bowl, but it seemed like he was looking at a deadly beast. He suddenly stepped back. His voice was stuttering. "What the hell are we eating? All you guys care about is eating. Stop talking nonsense. Hurry up and make them stop. Tell the boss to hurry up and check us out. We have things to do." His friends finally sensed something was off. One by one, they put down their spoons. Their expressions changed from excitement to embarrassment just then. 3 waiters from the Three Dynasties Hotel. He walked in holding 3 plates. Smiling, he said, "Everyone, your dishes are ready. There are a total of 6 dishes, all good fortune." Lu Chuan looked up. The 3 plates contained braised yellow croaker, roasted suckling pig, and scallion braised sea cucumber. All 3 dishes are substantial. Each one is rather pricey. Lu Chuan stared at the 3 dishes. As if all his strength had been drained, his legs went weak. and with a thud, he collapsed into the chair. His vision darkened, nearly passing out. Lu, what's wrong with you? His friends panicked. Rushing over, Song Ming took out a tissue and wiped his mouth, gently tugged at my arm, and gave me a look. I immediately understood his meaning. It's time to stop while we're ahead. As soon as we reached the door, we heard Lu Chuan's frantic voice coming from inside the restaurant. Aren't we brothers? If we are, then help me out here. Then came the complaints from his friends. You said you'd treat us, that's why we came. Our monthly allowance barely covers our expenses. How could we afford to help you out? If you're going to be like this, we won't hang out with you anymore. Someone shouted. What about those two earlier? Did they run away? Song Ning and I exchanged a smile, quickened our pace to make a swift exit. The more I thought about it on the way, the harder it was to hold back my laughter. It was so satisfying. Lu Chuan's defeated expression just now was simply too entertaining. Song Ming chuckled and added, he'll probably be struggling with his budget for the next few months. They all have to pitch in. I laughed and said it wasn't just him. He'd definitely need to borrow more money. Not only did I order a few signature dishes, sometimes I even asked the owner to raise the prices a bit. Haha, you're really so bad. We joked and laughed our way to school. The feeling of satisfaction in my heart was beyond words. I knew this time, Lu Chuan had really messed up, but I didn't expect this to not be the most satisfying part. The next day, Lu Chuan and his friends didn't come to school at all. Later, I heard the follow-up from others. I heard that night Lu Chuan and his friends took out all the money they had on them, but it still wasn't enough to pay the bill. The owner had no choice but to threaten them, saying he would call their parents and even bring it to the school. In the end, it was still Lu Chuan who grit his teeth and paid the bill himself. He not only spent all his living expenses, but also borrowed from several campus loan sharks and his so-called friends, after being stripped of all their money by the boss, teamed up to beat Lu Chuan up. From then on, Lu Chuan was completely isolated in the dorm. His so-called buddies no longer wanted to hang out with him, and occasionally made snide remarks about him behind his back. Logically, after such a huge loss, Lu Chuan should have given up completely, but I still underestimated his thick skin. Not only did he not give up on Song Ning, but he seemed to go crazy instead. To pay off his debts and to have money to continue pursuing Song Ning, he started working part-time day and night, handing out flyers, delivering food, tutoring. He did any dirty or tiring work. Before long, he had lost a lot of weight. His eye sockets were sunken, and his complexion was sallow, looking completely haggard. But even so, he still waits every day without fail at the girls' dormitory for Song Ning. Whenever he sees me with Song Ning, he stares at us with a resentful and venomous gaze. Looking at his ghastly expression, I feel not an ounce of sympathy, only disgust. Those who are pitiful must also have their own faults. All of this is self-inflicted. Time flies, and soon it was Valentine's Day. I got up early in the morning, bought a big bouquet of roses, and booked a couple's suite at the Huangqiao Grand Hotel. In the afternoon after school, I went to pick up Song Ming at their classroom building. Before I got close, I saw that familiar, haggard figure. It was Lu Chuan, holding a wilted rose in his hand, standing in the cold wind, dressed too lightly, shivering from the cold. His eyes were fixed on the door, as if he was waiting for something. No need to think, he must be waiting for Song Ming, still unwilling to give up after falling to such a state. I ignored him and walked straight to the back entrance. I called Song Ning. It wasn't long before Song Ning came down. She was wearing a beautiful white dress. Her hair was down. She had light makeup on her face. She looked like a fairy. When she saw the roses in my hand, her eyes lit up. A happy smile appeared on her face. I stepped forward and handed her the roses. I smiled and said, "Happy Valentine's Day." Song Ming took the roses. Her cheeks slightly flushed as she quietly said, "Happy Valentine's Day." I took her hand and turned to walk out of the school gate. Then it was just eating and sleeping, a full service. The next day, when we came back early in the morning, we found Lu Chuan still standing there. Turns out he had been waiting here all night. Seeing him like this, I can't help but feel a bit emotional. He stood here for an entire night. The person I couldn't let go of was already put inside last night. With such determination, what the hell are you doing? Just then, Lu Chuan noticed us. He suddenly rushed over and blocked our way. She looked at the rose in Song Ning's hand. A flicker of jealousy and unwillingness flashed in her eyes. He held out the wilted rose in his hand. He hoarsely said to Song Ning, "Here, this flower is for you. I know I'm very poor right now. I can't afford an expensive rose, but my feelings are genuine." Song Ning looked at the wilted flower in her hand, then glanced at her haggard appearance. There was not a trace of emotion in her eyes, only a faint hint of disgust. She didn't take the flower, just coldly said, "Lu Chuan, I've told you many times. I have a boyfriend, please stay away from me." "I know you have a boyfriend." Lu Chuan suddenly became agitated. He pointed at me and said sharply, "Isn't he just richer than I am? Isn't he the one who can buy you roses and take you to fancy hotels? Let me tell you, Song Ning, I will definitely succeed. When I succeed, I will buy you even more roses and better things. I looked at his hysterical expression and found it utterly ridiculous. I spoke up. In a cold tone, I said, your success or failure has nothing to do with us. Please step aside and don't block our way. Lu Chuan stared at me, his eyes filled with bloodshot veins. Lin Feng, don't be smug. I will definitely surpass you. Then he turned and ran away. That look in his eyes startled me. He was too obsessive. Keeping him around, no one could guarantee what outrageous things he might do. For the safety of myself and Song Ning, I felt I should do something. The week before the winter vacation, I was with Song Ning and Lu Bo, discussing winter vacation plans in the school cafe. I brought you a sip of coffee, said with sparkling eyes. I heard that the salaries in Southeast Asia are very high. 1 month can be equivalent to several months here. How about we go to Southeast Asia to work during the winter vacation? Make some pocket money. I felt a stir in my heart, knowing the opportunity had arrived. I deliberately raised my voice and said, is it true that one can earn so much in a month? Doesn't that mean you can make quite a bit of money? Song Ning nodded and said seriously, of course it's true. My cousin went to Southeast Asia last winter vacation. I made tens of thousands when I came back. Lu Bo said excitedly beside him. Really? Then I'll go too. I want to make a lot of money. I smiled at Lu Bo. Then he said to Song Ming, sure, then we'll go to Southeast Asia during the winter break. The three of us intentionally spoke very loudly, chatting animatedly. I know that Lu Chuan is sitting in a corner not far away. He can definitely hear our conversation. Indeed, I caught a glimpse of Lu Chuan's ear out of the corner of my eye. It looks like a radar standing upright. I couldn't help but smirk inwardly. The fish took the bait. The wages are indeed high over there in Southeast Asia, but it's also very chaotic over there. I know he is now in deep debt. He will definitely go to Southeast Asia if he urgently needs money. Once he leaves, don't expect him to come back. On the day of the winter break, Song Ning and I deliberately waited at the school gate. I ran into Lu Chuan. Lu Chuan looked at us with eyes full of jealousy. I said it on purpose. What are your plans for the winter vacation in Lu Chuan? Would you like to go to Southeast Asia to work with us? The salary is very high. Lu Chuan's eyes lit up for a moment, then quickly dimmed again. He let out a cold snort. Humph, your family is so wealthy, yet you still have to go out and work. You must have ulterior motives. It's precisely because the family is rich that one should go out more often and get to know the local market. Every place has its own advantages. As the saying goes, a tree moves and a person thrives. This isn't entirely a lie to him. There are indeed advantages locally, like those gray industries. He said nothing and walked away. I know he says this on the surface, but deep down, he must have been tempted long ago. This time he just came to voice his doubts. After the winter break, Lu Chuan didn't return to school. At first, some people asked him about borrowing quite a bit of money from his classmates. Slowly, there are fewer and fewer people asking. Later on, no one remembered that our school once. There was a transfer student named Lu Chuan. Later, his parents found the school. It is said that Lu Chuan left a letter and then went missing. The letter says he wants to make a fortune. The whole family has been looking for a long time, but there is no news at all. College life passed by quickly. Song Ning and I graduated smoothly. The sun was shining brightly on graduation day. I am wearing my graduation gown, looking at Song Ning next to me. Lu Bo stood beside us and said with a sigh, time flies so fast. In the blink of an eye, we have graduated. I patted him on the shoulder and smiled as I said, yes, by the way, have you found a good job? Lu Bo chuckled and found it. My dad arranged a job for me as a manager in his company. Song Ming and I both laughed. After the graduation ceremony, I took Song Ning home. My dad's company is currently expanding. They need a reliable person to take over. My dad looked at me earnestly and said, when Lin Feng's dad gets old, this company will be handed over to you. I nodded and took the documents from my dad's hand. From that day on, I officially took over the family business. Song Ning stayed by my side to help me. We lived like any other couple, going to work, having dates, and watching movies. Life was simple yet happy. A year after graduation, I proposed to Song Ning. On the day of the proposal, I booked the entire top floor of the Royal Hotel. With the engagement ring in hand, I knelt on one knee and looked at Song Ning. My voice choked as I said, Song Ning, since I can remember, you have always been by my side. You accompanied me through troubles and helped me grow up. You were there during the most beautiful times of my life. I can't say I'm the best, but I can promise to love you and protect you for the rest of my life. Will you marry me? Song Ming looked at me with tears shimmering in her eyes. She nodded vigorously, saying she was willing. I slipped the diamond ring onto her finger. I stood up and hugged her tightly. Our wedding was grand and extravagant. Both sets of parents and our friends came to celebrate. Lu Bo was my best man. He looked at me excitedly and said, "Brother, congratulations on finally winning the heart of a beauty." I smiled and said, "Thank you, my good brother." At the wedding, Song Ming wore a pure white wedding dress. She was stunningly beautiful. I held her hand, looking at the guests below. My heart was filled with happiness. I knew that all of this was hard-earned. If it weren't for Song Ming's companionship, I might not have this happiness today. Our married life became even sweeter. Song Ming stayed at home to focus on her pregnancy. 10 months later, our child was born, and he was a boy. He looks a lot like me. I named him Lin Yanning. It means missing Song Ming. Holding the child in my arms, I look at the familiar Song Ning sleeping beside me. I feel like the happiest person in the world. On weekends, I take Song Ning and the child for a walk in the park, watching the child run around on the grass. With Song Ning snuggled up beside me, my heart is filled with contentment. Lu Bo occasionally comes over to visit. She looks at my child with envy and says, "I really envy you. You have such a beautiful wife and such a lovely child." I smile and say, "You should hurry up and find a girlfriend too." Lu Bo sighs, "Fate hasn't come yet." We all laugh. Perhaps this is happiness. Have your own career. Have a loved one by your side. Have good friends who care. The rest of life is long and filled with joy.